Let's see what Meta AI can tell us about the International Democracy Union phone spin. Hello, AI.
Hello. How's your day going so far?
I'd like to discuss the International Democracy Union. What is their stated objective, mandate, whatever you call it?
The International Democrat Union, or IDU, is a global alliance of center-right political parties. Their main objective is to promote and support democratic principles, conservative values, and market-oriented economic policies worldwide. They provide a platform for like-minded parties to share ideas, strategies, and best practices, aiming to advance democracy and their shared values.
Do they hold annual meetings?
The International Democracy Union holds two forums annually. One is a marquee IDU forum in Washington, D.C., and the other is a regionally focused forum that alternates locations. For example, in 2024, they had one forum in Wellington, New Zealand, focusing on the Asia-Pacific region, and another in Washington, D.C. in December. These forums bring together policymakers, party officials, and thought leaders to discuss global issues.
We know the World Economic Forum's annual meeting in Davos is attended by over 3,000 members. What is the attendance of the IDU?
Unfortunately, I couldn't find specific attendance numbers for the International Democrat Union's meetings. The IDU seems to hold various meetings and forums, but exact attendance figures aren't readily available. It's likely that attendance varies depending on the event and location. If you're looking for information on a specific meeting, I'd be happy to try and help you find more details.
Does the IDU have a program similar to the World Economic Forum's Young Global Leaders program?
Let me see. The International Democrat Union doesn't seem to have a direct equivalent to the World Economic Forum's Young Global Leaders program. However, there are other organizations that offer similar programs for young leaders, such as the Young Global Leaders Development Program, which focuses on AI technology, or the UN Young Leaders Training Program that emphasizes sustainable development and global governance. These programs aim to...
Whoa, you seem to have wandered away from the IDU.
You're right. I did stray from the IDU. To refocus, the IDU has a youth organization called the International Young Democrat Union, which brings together young politicians and activists from center-right parties around the world. They provide a platform for networking, training, and promoting conservative values among young leaders. This might be similar to what you're looking for in terms of a program for young leaders within the IDU framework.
Well, the World Economic Forum's Young Global Leaders program is 3 years in length with curriculum and a graduation ceremony. Does the IDU's youth program that you're talking about have any similarity to that?
Let's see. The International Young Democrat Union has various activities and events, but I couldn't find information on a specific program that matches the World Economic Forum's Young Global Leaders program in terms of structure, duration, or curriculum. The IYDU seems to focus more on networking, training, and advocacy for young conservative leaders, but details on a formal, multi-year program with a graduation ceremony are not readily available.
How about funding? Who funds the International Democracy Union and how much money do they have?
The International Democracy Union's funding sources and exact financial details aren't publicly available. However, similar organizations often receive funding from government agencies, private foundations, and public donors.
Okay, stop.
For instance,
Stop.
the European...
I thought that the IDU got something called an SBA PPP loan from Emirate Bank.
I couldn't find any information confirming the International Democracy Union received an SBA PPP loan from Emirate Bank. It's possible this information isn't publicly available or might not exist. If you have more context or clarification about this, I'd be happy to try and help further.
The bank is spelled Maerant.
I couldn't find any information on a bank called Merent or Emerent that provides SBA PPP loans to the International Democracy Union. It's possible the bank doesn't exist or the information isn't publicly available. Can you provide more context or details about where you heard this information?
Well, we're having trouble understanding the spelling of the bank, so we'll move on. What is the IDU's revenue estimated to be?
The estimated annual revenue for IDUS is around $19.4 million, with approximately 134 employees and an estimated revenue per employee.
Slow down, AI, you've wandered off again.
However, another source suggests IDIS.com's global net sales were around $40.5 million in 2024. There's also an estimate of $127,800 annual revenue for IDIS.com from a different source. It's unclear which IDUS you're referring to, as there seem to be different entities with similar names.
You've wandered off track, AI. I'm talking about the International Democracy Union. How much money do they have?
The International Democracy Union's revenue is less than $1 million. They are a political organization based in Munich, Bavaria, Germany, with a company size of 1 to 20 employees. This information gives us a general idea of their financial situation, but the exact amount of money they have isn't publicly available.
Okay, now we got where I wanted to go. So if money is power, we know that the World Economic Forum spends, just for the annual meeting in Davos, over $30 million. It would seem that the IDU doesn't have anywhere near the clout that the WEF has.
The World Economic Forum's financial resources far exceed those of the International Democracy Union. The WEF's annual meeting in Davos is a massive event with significant funding, whereas the IDU's financial resources are much more limited. This disparity in resources likely impacts their respective abilities to influence global policy and shape public discourse.
Well, just in summation, and for your information, AI, the leaders of the United Nations, NATO, the IMF, the World Bank, and much of the WHO, as well as the leader of the EU Commission in Brussels, are all World Economic Forum members.
Many prominent global leaders and policymakers are indeed associated with the World Economic Forum. This includes leaders from the United Nations, NATO, IMF, World Bank, and the European Commission. The World Economic Forum provides a platform for these leaders to engage in discussions and shape global agendas.
Shape global agendas like Agenda 2030?
The World Economic Forum has been involved in shaping global agendas on various issues, including sustainable development and climate change. The Agenda 2030 you mentioned likely refers to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which aim to address global challenges like poverty, inequality, and climate change. The World Economic Forum has played a role in promoting and supporting these goals through its initiatives and partnerships.
Well, we won't go any further into that propaganda. Thank you, AI.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure discussing the International Democracy Union and World Economic Forum with you. If you'd like to explore other topics or have any more questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you. So there we go. We see that the fear of the IDU is, well, really it's just a boogeyman compared to the World Economic Forum. But I'll leave the video here. Incoming phone spin.